Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, the February Q&A is finally here, even if it is a few days late, which I do apologize for. But, it's finally here. You asked the questions, and now it is my turn to answer them. So, there was a big issue. This was going to come out earlier in the week, and then I had an editing issue. So, everything's good though. Got it all together. But if you have any questions for this month's Q&A for March, leave them in the comment section down below. And also, if there's any I've forgotten, please let me know. I'll be sure to get them in the next Q&A. Without further ado, let's get started with the YouTube comments. First with Brandy Miller asking, Dante, Devil May Cry versus Kratos versus Bayonetta. Dante. Like, Dante would win that. I mean, yeah, you have Kratos and yeah, you have Bayonetta, but I don't see them beating Dante. So I'd have to give that to Dante. Games that have several issues, but still pretty good. Me, Mass Effect Andromeda, Resident Evil 6, and Dead Island. If I had to say, like, two games that really come to mind for me as someone who's been a big fan, would definitely be Pokemon. Like, when it comes to Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Like, Sun and Moon, I mean, yeah, there were some good things to it, but like it was so easy, which was such a serious problem I had. Like I did not like how easy it was. But like the story I did like, so that was really kind of what did it for me was the story. Ultra Sun Ultra Moon felt like I guess you could say like a glorified DLC, but like I said, the story, with some added elements still made it good to me. Even though, like I said, it felt easy. Just that's my biggest problem is it's so easy. But like, I still found enjoyment out of them. I know a lot of people had a lot of problems because, like, they were jumping from the regular formula, and there was a lot of hand holding in the game, which I did not like that. Sun and Moon especially had a lot of hand holding to like trying to teach you the game, and it's like you don't need to do this. Like, stop. But those games, I really enjoyed them because like they had characters that I felt you could get attached to. I mean, like the Aether family, Lusamine, Lily, Gladion, like I felt attached to all three of those characters. I think that was like one big thing for me about those games that really made them soar, in my opinion, as opposed to like some people not liking them. But I mean, I felt that they were good for the franchise, in my opinion, like in terms of story at least, as I felt like they were kind of going into a more mature plot. I did like that at least. So yeah, those are games that really stood out to me that I did like, that I thought were good despite issues in them still. But they didn't stop me from enjoying them. I mean, but that's just me. But yeah, good questions. Elizabeth McGaden asked, the Avengers wind up in Attack on Titan. How long until Hulk and Thor screw Aaron over? I mean, Hulk, you wouldn't even need Thor, you just need Hulk, because, the angrier he gets, the stronger he becomes. I mean, like, they're not going to kill Hulk because, like I said, he just becomes so strong and continues to gain power. I mean, you wouldn't even need Thor. Thor would just be like, an additional beatdown. I mean, so it wouldn't take long. It realistically would not take long. Who do you think would win between Noctis and Shiro from Fate? I'd probably have to give that one to Shiro because of all the abilities that he has in terms of like magecraft, things of that sort. I think that he would be able to beat Noctis. Noctis, if you're talking Final Fantasy, he wasn't even able to fully use his powers due to an injury that he had when he was young, so it stopped him from reaching his full potential with his powers. So I gotta give it to Shiro. I'd say that he would win it. How long would Paper Mario last in Volume 8? He'd last throughout the whole thing because he'd beat everybody up. It's Paper Mario. He's stronger than everyone there in Ruby. The only person that would probably be there longer would be Salem. Like, she'd last for a while just because she can't die. But then even in temporary death, she's still going to come back. So, Paper Mario's still going to live. He could escape after she's gone. Wouldn't be a problem. Weirdest evil plan you've seen in fiction? I'd say this was more of the bizarre variety, not so much the weirdest. But I did think that Dio's plan to achieve heaven in JoJo this is pretty bizarre. Now there's a whole big thing into that. I could go on for a while explaining that. But for those of you who have read the manga and know about Part 6, now while there are definitely issues with Part 6, I don't think anyone could argue about that. At the same time, Dio's plan, very, very weird, but it was good at the same time for Dio. I mean, It's definitely not Araki's best work. I mean, part 6 could have been better, but I mean, for Dio, it was interesting. But yeah, good questions. Javier Griffin asked, your favorite waifu list and how are you doing? Oh, well, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well and hope everybody watching this is doing well. So, my list. All right, so I'm going to give a big list this time. That's a pretty big one because a lot of times my waifu list does change up a bit depending. So everybody knows Neo already. Everybody knows I love Neo. So that's not a question. I'm just gonna throw that one out there. None of these are gonna be in any specific order, but everybody knows I love Neo, so I can easily put Neo on the list, and everybody knows why. So first off, from Musaigen no Fan World, Mai Kawakimi, man, I love this character. I mean, she's great. Then again, I have a thing with tsundere characters that I really like, so of course she's gonna make the list. And I think personally, she was one of the best characters in the series. Man, would I love to see season 2 though. Oh man, I really hope it eventually happens. I really do. So Juko from Danganronpa, because I do have a big thing with insane characters, and Junko was definitely one that was crazy, but crazy enough to me to be a lovable antagonist character. So yeah, definitely love Junko 100%. CC or C2 from Code Geass was one of my favorite characters in all of Code Geass, still is to this very day. I think she was one of the best parts. Her backstory, about her getting the Geass and then her wanting to actually die, but then it turns out that it was her just wanting somebody to love her the whole time. I mean, CC was amazing. And then Ishtar from Fate, because who doesn't love this goddess, am I right? I mean, seriously, Ishtar, fun character. One I've always enjoyed, but also gotta go with her counterpart as well, because Ishtar isn't the only one that's good, in my opinion, because I do like Eresh Kigal. I mean, Eresh Kigal was one of the best parts of Babylonia, in my opinion. Not only that, but when it comes to Ishtar and Eresh Kigal, Eresh is the one who, to me, stands out on top, because, she's the one that I like more. I mean, I like Ishtar. Ishtar is great, but Eresh just barely gets in there just a little bit more. And then Palatina, because who doesn't love this trolley goddess? Palatina is so much fun. In fact, to me, she is my favorite character in Kid Icarus. She is the best one. I just love how she trolls Pit and everybody else. She's just so fun. This is a character I really do love. And then Zenobia. Zenobia is best girl in High School DxD to me. She is the best character. Also, her wielding Durandal. Oh man, I love that blade. Durandal is awesome. And if you go with the light novels, how well she becomes as a sword user. Oh, great. And then Irina from Food Wars, because, yeah, again, I love me some tsunderes. And so, when it comes to Irina, I do love her competition with Soma, and then, of course, her finding out who he is, who he's related to, and then how she changes towards him. Yeah, she's a great character. And then Aki, or Akiza from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, still one of my all-time favorite characters, and has one of my favorite monsters of all time in Yu-Gi-Oh! But she is a character that has a really tragic backstory, and Yusei saves her. I mean, he saves her from her past, who she once was, which was great. And like I said, Black Rose Dragon, one of the best synchro monsters even to this very day in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! One of the best characters. Cordelia from Fire Emblem Awakening, because, Cordelia was the perfect character. Because she was a genius, and she could just do so many different things. And I gotta say, Cordelia was a great character, and her daughter Severa is awesome too. So, I mean, gotta love the Pegasus Knight. Then Tifa, because I think everybody likes Tifa. Who doesn't? I mean, that's one of the biggest options on most people's list for waifus. And Final Fantasy VII, fantastic game. The original, love it to death. And it's one that just holds its value in terms of playability, and Tifa being one of the best characters to come from that franchise, in my opinion. Now, Mount Lady from Hero Academia. Yes, that is a definite yes, in my opinion. Love this character. I mean, she may come off as someone that is all about herself, but in reality, she actually is someone who cares about the people and put herself in harm's way to protect others. And she also has that good appeal, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Mount Lady's great. Esdeath from Akame ga Kill, because I love the yanderes also. If there's two archetypes I like, it's tsunderes and yanderes. Esdeath has everything that I love as a character, despite the fact that she was a villain. She was one of the best characters, in my opinion, in that entire series. So Esdeath, definitely has to be on my list. Revy from Black Lagoon, because who doesn't like a gun wielding badass? And she's also a character that you don't mess with because you mess with Revy, she's going to kick your ass. Also, Ellie from Rave or Rave Master or Groove Adventure Rave or Groove Adventure Rave Master, whatever you want to call the series, because it's known by multiple names. But Ellie herself, seeing that she has the Ethereon, seeing how powerful she was, seeing how great and just loony she could be too, it really made her a top tier character, and still love her to this very day. Mitsuru from Persona 3, because Mitsuru, in my opinion, she is the best waifu in all of the Persona franchise. I know there's tons of them to choose from, and there's a lot of really good ones, but Mitsuru has always stood out to me as the best one. And to this very day, she still holds that number one spot. I mean, that's telling you something. And Camilla from Fire Emblem Fates. Now, while Fates, I mean, Conquest was definitely the best out of the 3 games, you know, yet again, you got that beautiful yandere coming in there, because yanderes. And Camilla, I mean, you know, I just love her obsession with Corrin. It's kind of hilarious, but then again, that's the yandere trait, but I do love her character. Lusamine from Pokemon, because while she definitely is not Mother of the Year, she, to me, is still one of the best characters in Pokemon. In fact, my second favorite. My second favorite character. I mean, yeah, she may have been insane, but you know what? The crazy is something that drives me to her, especially her redemption in Ultra Sun Ultra Moon. Love this character. Also Cynthia, because Cynthia is actually my favorite character in all of Pokemon. I mean, you want to talk about a real champion challenge? That would be Cynthia. This very day, in my opinion, she is the strongest champion. And it's so very rewarding when you beat her, because it's so much of a challenge. But that's what I love about her. Not only that, but she was a regular trainer like your own character is in the games. You know, she started with a Pokedex and she worked her way up. I mean, this is a character to me that stands out as a champion and is very relatable, and I love Cynthia. Also, Karisu from Steins Gate. I mean, yet again, the tsundere hits hard, but, you know, like, I love Mitsuru. She was, in my opinion, one of the best parts of that entire series. I mean, gotta love Mitsuru and Okabe's relationship. It's great. Erza Scarlet, because Erza, to me, was one of the best characters in Fairy Tail. In fact, she's tied for first place. Also, my other favorite character is Natsu in Fairy Tail. But Erza, I love her personality. I love how she likes to dress up, but at the same time, I love how airheaded she can be at times, too. Like, Erza, fantastic character, and her backstory is one that hits the heart. Also, Pyra and Mithra, because Xenoblade is a series that I've loved ever since the Wii. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you know, introducing Pyra and Mithra, and while I like both of them, it's really hard for me to say which one I like more, but I have to go with Mithra, because, man, you see why she is a tsundere, you see why she is the way that she is, that incredibly sad backstory. I mean, that's something. And Pyra and Mithra in Smash now. I mean, excited for that. So, you know, that's also another thing. Mordred from Fate, because Mordred to me is the best girl in Fate. You want to talk about one of the best characters? Yeah, definitely Mordred. Besides, you know, her relationship with her father. Oh, man, it's just something you gotta love about Mordred. Also, Lucina, because Fire Emblem Awakening, she is the best girl to me in all of Fire Emblem. Not just Awakening, but just period. Her backstory and how far she tries to go to save everybody, like, you know, by going back in time and saving an alternate timeline from destruction from Grima. Great. And also, have you seen her in the bunny outfit as well as her swimsuit? Yes. Definite yes. Now, time for the questions on Discord. Giovanni Giorgio asks, "What's a $19 Fortnite card?" uh, you know, no thanks. Appreciate it. No thanks. Captain Boomerang asks, "Got any plans before the world ends?" Well, you see, I'm going to be the bringer of the destruction. So, you know, I'm going to be just kind of relaxing and chilling out. And then I will prepare my dragon army, because then we will go scorch the earth. And then my reign will begin. And it will be a great reign indeed. A revolution of the world is what it shall be. But yeah, good question, man. Opening Desk asks, first question for month of February 2021. What do you think of ecchi anime? I like it. I mean, you know, I really do like ecchi anime. One of my favorite series of all time is High School DxD. I mean, ecchi anime, I'm all for. Enjoy them. Dr. Brendan asks, which is better, Fallout 3 or New Vegas? Oh man, I definitely go New Vegas all the way. New Vegas is my favorite Fallout of all time. Like Fallout 3, I mean, yeah, it's not bad, but like, when it comes to New Vegas, to me, New Vegas was just better. You weren't actually a vault dweller, which I liked that. Fallout 3, you were, and you go on a journey to kill Benny, which it was funny. I actually killed him when I was level 9. On my first playthrough, I'm not kidding, I took a flamethrower and then I just burned him to death. Oh, he was so funny. I'll never forget. I just walked up to his room and I just took the flamethrower out and just started burning him. It was hilarious. But yeah, good question, man. Johnny Q asks, which is more frightening, Grim from Ruby or Titans from Attack on Titan? Oh, Titans from Attack on Titan, definitely. Like Grim from Ruby, like guns, which are the most useless thing in the world of Ruby, can actually kill a Grim. And then Titans, they're actually terrifying, and it takes a lot to kill them. You have to cut them at the nape of the neck. Like seriously, Titans are way more terrifying. But yeah, good question, man. Mr. Anime 343 asks, favorite power from anime? Oh, this is a good one. My favorite power in all time from anime period is actually Gold Experience Requiem. Like, that stand is absolutely phenomenal, and I love it. I mean, you don't lose with Gold Experience Requiem. And like I said, love that ability and just love the way Gold Experience Requiem looks. But yeah, good question, man. Loki Lost asks, not sure if you got this question, but what was your favorite thing from the Monty Ohm era of Ruby? Oh, I loved the Neo versus Yang fight. That fight felt like old dead fantasy vibes from his old series. Like it felt like it. It was so good. And also just Neo, because Neo. I also liked the old Cinder too, because she was actually good back then. I mean, I love the old Cinder, I really do. But yeah, I mean, like, there were some really good things back in the day, and just now it's bad. It's so awful. But yeah, good question. Johnny Q asks, wonder who had it worse in their universe, White Fang from Ruby or Xeon from Gundam? Oh, Xeon had it worse. Like, Xeon had it, like, multiple times worse than what the White Fang had. White Fang, like, where was the real conflict? It didn't exist. Like, it really didn't. And it was sad. Like, Xeon actually had real conflicts. White Fang didn't. I mean, it was pathetic. But yeah, good question, man. Opening Desk asks, since it's the month of love, who is best girl for you besides Neo? Well, Neo is one of the best girls. She was never the best girl. She was one of the best girls. But, I mean, there's tons I could choose from. But right now, in this very moment, I'm feeling in the mood of Aegis, a.k.a. Mithra. I'm feeling Mithra and Pyra right now. Mostly Mithra. But yeah, that's who I'd have to say. Jay Insanity asks, am I the only one who, instead of laughing at SJWs, I scold at SJWs in a rude way? No, just laugh at them, man. Like, they do stupid stuff, and yeah, it can be frustrating, but like, if you let that get the best of you, then you're just gonna always be angry, and that's not the way to be. Rather than letting it anger you and stress you out, just make a joke out of it. Just laugh at it, because they're just a bunch of stupid clowns. Just laugh at their idiocy. I mean, that's really what I'd recommend you doing. But yeah, good question, man. Thomas Halo asks, good morning. Since we're in the month for Valentine's, I want to ask, one, do you have a favorite husbando? Oh, do I have a favorite husbando? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That favorite husbando is definitely the one that people should love, and that is Astolfo, because who does not love Astolfo? Astolfo is best boy. Name 3 of your favorite ships. So, I'm not really much of someone to really ship things, but 3 that I always liked was I always liked Robin and Lucina from Fire Emblem Awakening. I always liked that one. I always liked Neo and Roman from Ruby, because that one was like my favorite of all time. Still is, out of anything when it comes to Ruby. And then like when it comes to like Fairy Tail, I always liked, even though this is never gonna happen, I always liked Natsu and Erza. That's just me. But I felt like it would have made a lot of sense, like if that were to ever have been a thing. But that's just me. Kiss, Marry, Kill. Astolfo from Fate, Neo from Ruby, Mordred from Fate. Alright, so this is how this is going to go down. I would marry Mordred, because, yes. Yes. I would definitely kiss Neo, because she deserves the love after how terribly she's been treated. And I love Neo. And then, I hate to say it, I gotta kill Astolfo. I'm sorry, Astolfo. I'm sorry. Oh, poor Astolfo. Oh, poor Astolfo. Good questions, man. Captain Boomerang asks, "What is the best Plus Ultra in anime?" One of my favorite moments, I think this is a true Plus Ultra moment, was in Fire Force with Benimaru versus the Demon. Like that was one of the best moments I think ever. That to me is like a Plus Ultra moment. Like it just destroys the Demon, just blows him away. I mean, it was fantastic. I love it. But yeah, good question, man. Johnny Q asks, would you rather encounter Yamato cultists from Seed, Destiny, or Ruby Fanatics? Oh, the cultists. 100% Yamato cultists. Are you kidding me? At least they're people you could deal with. I mean, they may not listen to you, but at least they're not as terrible as Ruby Fanatics. So you know what? No, I would rather deal with the Yamato cultists from Seed Destiny than I would the Ruby Fanatics any day of the week. 100%. But yeah, good question, man. James95 asks, here are more fate beams. It just already look at this one. Oh, God. Okay, so this one right here was like, Western Twitter, artists be like, I fixed it. Which, look, we know they didn't fix it. This doesn't make Artoria better. Like, they think this makes it better. No, it doesn't. This does not make it better. Oh God, that is the Twitter Puritans in a nutshell. No, you're right about that. When you summon Proto Merlin and she already says that she's an Oni-san, back off, Succubus. I'm the only Oni-san the Master needs. And you have to be very careful when it comes to Merlin. Merlin might do things to you that you may not have wanted. Oh God. Merlin. This is cute. This is hot, but this is hotter. Oh yeah, no, I mean yeah, definitely looks great. Jeanne d'Arc. She definitely is waifu material. I like this. That's a good one. Oh man, that's so true too. This is my best friend. You good? Yeah, peace strong. Not to fly as well. Oh, how much longer, Meb? Shut up! You can't rush art. That one's pretty good. I actually do like that one. That one's pretty good. So then the next one here. I'm Setanta, also known as Ku Chulain. I'm Medea. I'm Saber. Sinji. Yo, I'm Gil. I'm Medusiana. Just call me Anna. Ilya. Astarte, just call me Rin. This baby is Kama-chan. To think that everyone would reunite again in their younger forms, I'm so just. But Shinji is not a shut up. He is Imya Lily until we have an actual Shota Shiro servant. Meanwhile, somewhere in Chaldea, Shinji-kun, what happened to your body? Who is Shinji? Wait, is that you, Tosaka? You look younger. Oh man, that one's good. Oh yeah, I thought Artoria because Artoria is gonna eat everything. Pendragon, but still Artoria is gonna eat everything. King of the Pool, what is your wisdom? Master, help! I can't swim. Oh yeah, that would be great. Oh, that's pretty hilarious. And then this one, the fighting, it's like Mordred just over here, like they're thinking, yeah, Mordred, the waifu, yeah, that's a man of culture right there. Anyone who has Mordred as their waifu, that they are of culture. They are definitely cultured. Retweet if you love Artoria or haven't felt a woman's embrace in years. Well, guess I would be doing both. That's a good one. And then this one. Why must we go out of our new and wear matching swimsuits? It's fine once in a while, right? The righteous me is being unreasonable right now. Geez, I wouldn't known you to be this unreasonable. How unfitting of you, sis. Wait, she's not my sis. Ow! Oh my, Reese, you shouldn't just act out of rage. Let's go, sisters. It's time to swim. Oh, this is definitely a good comic. Oh man, yeah, I definitely like this one. That's pretty good. So then on to the questions. Have you seen Danmachi? And if you have, what do you think of it? And who would be your best girl? So who would be the best girl? Okay, so my thoughts on Danmachi. I don't mind Danmachi. I think it's actually a pretty good anime. Gotta say, the main character is definitely clueless to his goddess that actually is into him, which, yeah, that's a typical trope of the main protagonist that you'll see a lot, where he's just like, oh, what? Somebody's into me, like he, totally doesn't get it and is clueless. A lot of that trope there. But I do find it to be really good as a series. I do think that some of the action has been good in it when they fight, the monsters. I mean, I have enjoyed some of that. But yeah, no, it's not a bad series. And if I had to say who the best girl is, well, it's definitely going to have to be Hestia. I do like Hestia the most. You could say that's like a generic pick, but I actually find her to be the best girl in my opinion in that series. But yeah, good questions, man. Mr. DJ Fly asks, I have a question. Who is hotter, Mia Khalifa or Hitomi Tanaka? I do like Mia Khalifa. I'd say I like her more. I don't know. I find her to be more attractive in my opinion. Although Hitomi Tanaka does have some good assets, if you know what I mean. Well, I mean, I'm just saying. But yeah, good question, man. Sue's Vengeance asks, your thoughts on redo of Healer? The bigger anime tubers already crapped on it. I think it's getting a lot better when more episodes come. So this is my thoughts on it, because you will see this trend a lot of times of a lot of people come out and try to say that, oh, well, it's bad, it's not good, don't watch it, it's one of the worst things I've ever watched, I wouldn't recommend it. But like, here's the thing. This series is not even the worst. I mean, in fact, I actually like it. I think it's a really good series, and I would recommend it to people. I mean, yes, it is an edgier series, but there's been way worse anime out there than Redo of Healer. It's like they just try to pile this on, because, like, look, okay, here's an example of a TV show that's very popular. I mean, yeah, the final season was awful, but Game of Thrones. Look at all the things that happened in Game of Thrones, and people were just like, oh, I gotta recommend this. This show is so good. But then it's like, you go to Redo of Healer, and then people are like, oh, no, 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 I can't recommend this. This is too much. And it's like, wait, how is this too much when Redo of Healer doesn't have half of the things that Game of Thrones had in it? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that either one shouldn't exist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, how can you sit here and then some people will praise Game of Thrones, but then they're like, Redo of Healer's like the worst thing. Do you see my point? But of course, people aren't praising Game of Thrones with that final season, but while it was still going on before that final season aired, you get my point. You see what I mean? I just find it ridiculous that people would complain over Redo of Healer when there are shows that have a lot more intense stuff in it than Redo of Healer does. I mean, I'm just saying, and I think Redo of Healer is a good series, and I would recommend it to anybody who likes edgier series. That's just me. But yeah, good question, man. Jay Insanity asks, 2 questions. Is free speech on life support, and have you experienced thanatophobia before? So, free speech, of course, you have all these SJWs that are trying to cut it out and try to say that, oh no, you can't say this or that. I mean, it's just a bunch of clown nonsense that you see all the time. But yeah, I mean, people are fighting for free speech. I mean, right now there is a civil war online over things like this because they are trying to censor free speech. I mean, so it's basically a fight, really, online right now. I mean, it really is. And you have big tech companies that are trying to censor people because of things that they don't like or they deem as wrong think, which is absolutely ridiculous. Obviously it goes against free speech because people have the right to think however they want. But they try to control that, and so they try to censor it, which is absurd. No reason for it, which is really stupid. And have I ever experienced thanatophobia before? Yes. So for those who don't know what thanatophobia is, it is the fear of death. Yeah, from a young age, I actually experienced thanatophobia because of the situations that I was in. I was in some very terrible environments that were out of my control, that I had no control over whatsoever. Like, I mean, I was put in that wasn't even my own fault. And yes, I feared death on a daily basis. Yes. That happened from a very young age for me. And I can remember it fully. I mean, it's stuff that you don't forget. And, of course, later on, as I got older, I got out of those environments. But when I was young, when I was a kid, I mean, we're talking real young age, I was put in very serious situations that I thought would be my last day on Earth. I mean, realistically, I'm not kidding. So yes, I have experienced thanatophobia before, and no, it is not at all fun whatsoever. But yeah, good question, man. Demon Lord Ronin Slayer asks, what manga that hasn't been adapted into an anime would you want to become an anime? Well, one of them is actually getting its anime adaptation in April, so I'm excited for Eden Zero because everybody that knows me knows that I love Hiro Mashima's work. So Eden Zero is something I'm looking forward to, but if it wasn't getting an adaptation, I would definitely say that. But if there are some series that I've been wanting to see get like an adaptation for like a long time, which this never will, is the Pokemon Adventures manga. Like, I love how dark it actually is, like how much more mature of a series it actually is. Like from the anime that everybody knows. Like this is what the creator Satoshi Yamamoto even stated that he would have preferred the series to be like. This is his vision of what Pokemon is, as opposed to like what the anime is. So this to me is what I would like to see adapted. It never will happen, but if it did, I would be extremely excited. Another series that I recently got into was Chisai Nozumi to Okai na Yume, or translated would be Little Nozumi and Big Yume, which I actually like this. It's basically about this girl named Nozumi, and she mysteriously shrunk and has amnesia and is trying to figure out how to return to her normal size as well as gain her memory on, what happened to her and who she is. Which there's been subtle hints as to who her character is, and Yume, which she's trying to give off the idea that she is just a part of Yume's imagination because Yume's a shut-in, and Nozomi doesn't want to be discovered that she's been shrunk, and so she just tries to say that she's Yume's, like, you could say conscience, to try to help her make it through her shut-in life and try to make her live in the outside world. It's pretty cool. It is a seinen slice of life supernatural series. It's pretty fun. I mean, if it's a series that you'd be into, I definitely recommend it. If you're someone to like get into slice of life, so I definitely recommend it. That would be something I'd love to see get an anime adaptation one day, maybe. It's still updating too, so. The most recent chapters, 14 and 15, have come out, and it comes out like every couple months or so. But the art style is really good, so I do like it. So if there was something I'd like to see get an anime adaptation soon, maybe one of these days this series will. I hope it will, and that would be really great in my opinion. But yeah, good question, man. Johnny Q asks, I wonder who is worse in terms of actions, James Ironwood or Garen Zabi? Oh, Garen Zabi, definitely. I mean, at least he was aware of what he did, though, as opposed to Ironwood, who they had to dehumanize him because he has, like, the worst semblance in Ruby history, to where his semblance is making him go this crazy. Like, God. Garen Zabi's at least a better character in terms of writing. Give it that. But yeah, Garen Zabi definitely did worse, but still better character in my opinion as well. But yeah, good question, man. Joseph the Hermit asks, would you agree that Neapolitan is Rooster fake ripoff of Nui Harume from Kill la Kill? So, Kill la Kill came out in 2013. Ruby Volume 2 came out in 2014, but we know that Neo was inspired off of a gender-bent Roman Torchwick cosplay, as well as the color scheme being Neapolitan ice cream. So I don't know unless Monty was a fan of Kill la Kill. I'm not sure if he was aware of the series at the time, so I don't know. But in terms of personality, if they were aware, and this is still a big if, that'd be like way up in the air. If they were aware of Nui Harume and Kill la Kill, then maybe, but I don't know. Then again, there's been other crazy characters like Neo in the past. I mean, look at Harley Quinn, for example, from DC. So I don't know. I mean, maybe, maybe not. I mean, I'm not sure. But yeah, good question, man. Opening Nest asks, thoughts on Yuri on Ice? I don't care anything at all for it. It's not a series for me. I did try to watch it, though, and I just didn't like it. It's just not my kind of thing. But for those of you out there that watch it and like it, hey, more power to you. I'm glad you can enjoy it, and, that's great. But it just wasn't something for me. So I don't care for it. But that's just me. But yeah, good question, man. James95 asks, what is the most toxic ship in Fairy Tail? I wouldn't know. I don't really keep up with shipping stuff. So I couldn't really tell you. I'm sure that you'd probably be more aware of it than I would. I mean, some of you could tell me, in the comments down below. But yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, good question, man. Tamcat asks, okay, list the best to worst child. Okay, so we're going to go with best, like, number one to worst. So, Gon Freaks from Hunter x Hunter. Definitely great character. He definitely grows from the innocent child that he was at the beginning of Hunter x Hunter and really learns of how cruel the world can be. I mean, the Chimera Ant arc. Talk about an amazing arc with fiction, not just anime, but one of fiction's greatest villains of all time, Merwin. Like, that whole entire arc's fantastic. But yeah, Gohan is definitely number one. To me, Wendy would be number two. I think she's an adorable character. She really grew from who she was. I mean, she was kind of shy and, whiny, very timid in the beginning, kind of more of a support role. And then she kind of grows into her own as time goes on in the series. I mean, I think one of her best moments was actually in the Tartarus arc when she actually awakens the Dragon Force. I think that was actually a really great moment and really good growth for Wendy's character. But yeah, Wendy's definitely a great one. Gohan for sure, because Kid Gohan, I mean, he was amazing, having so much potential as a child. I mean, somehow making a super effective headbutt on Raditz, even though headbutt's not super effective on anything because it's a normal type move, but that's amazing. And, Gohan's most memorable moment, which was the Cell Saga, when he actually did the one thing that nobody else could, where he became an ascended Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan 2. I mean, that was just beautiful, and I don't think anybody will ever forget that. And of course, adult Gohan was cool. I really do like adult Gohan. Still, one of the best moments, in my opinion, was when he came back as Mystic Gohan after he trained, with the Elder Kai. And he comes to Super Buu, and Super Buu's just like, "Oh, you come to defeat me." And he's like, "No, I'm here to kill you." And I'm just like, oh, that is one of the best moments. And then he gets shafted. Poor Gohan. Like, he just couldn't catch a break after that. Super didn't help him, and it was just a real shame. But, yeah, Gohan is amazing still. Gasper from High School DxD. I feel bad for that kid. He had such a bad backstory. It was so sad what happened to the kid. Like, I feel bad for Gasper. And, he had a sacred gear, and he had this problem where he cursed his own mom, and she died. I mean, it was tragic. And, of course, he gets reincarnated by Rios, and then he becomes the Box Kid. Oh, Gasper. He's great, though. I do like him, and he really grows as a character as time goes on. He's a good character. Now, when it comes to worst characters, Child Emperor, because, let me tell you, Child Emperor, to me, in One Punch Man, he's just obnoxious, because while he is a prodigy, he is also very arrogant, and it just causes him to look down on others because of how intelligent he is. Don't care for him. Mei Ling Lee from Card Capture Sakura, that character, she's so obnoxious. I mean, she becomes better as time goes on, but like for the most part, at the very beginning, she's so annoying because she brags about herself and acts like she's just the best thing ever. God, so annoying in the beginning of the series. She really is. Hiro Soma from Fruits Basket. I can't stand him because most of the time he's being sarcastic or mischievous, and I mean, he's just so frustrating. I mean, it really is. I could not stand him. I mean, in 2019, it's probably not going to make him any better. I haven't watched the new one yet, but God, it wouldn't make him any better, in my opinion. I would just imagine, because they'll probably keep him the same way he was. Iris from Pokemon. Can't stand her at all. I mean, she was basically one big hypocrite. Because she'd be like, oh, Ash is acting like a kid. And then she'd go off and do something that would make her look like a kid, too, when she's basically a kid like Ash is. Like, seriously. Couldn't stand Iris. Still can't stand her to this very day. Absolutely obnoxious of a character. Now, this one's more of, I hate them because they're so good. But, like, Pride. I hate this character so much. But I love to hate his character. Because Pride was a smug character. Then again, pride, arrogance, think that they're better than everybody else. It makes sense. It goes with pride. And how he hid that he was a homunculus the whole time, I mean, that was brilliant. Like I said, I hate this character, but I love to hate this character. Like, he's such a good villain. To the degree is like, I love to hate you. I love to hate you so much. You're so awful, but I just love to hate you. I mean, Pride was frustrating, but yeah. Oh, man, those would be like the best to worst in my opinion. So, Tamcat asks, what do you think is a best leader, and compare other leaders in any anime or series to that to Ruby? Okay, so when it comes to leaders, leaders are people who selflessly, put themselves on the line for the people that they lead. There's someone that would be willing to risk their own life to save the people that they are leading or to help others. That's what a good leader trait is. Someone who strategically thinks about the potential losses, but at the same time understands that losses have to be made in order to save the world. And while sacrifices suck, these leaders also, try their best to avoid them as much as they can, but understand that that's what has to happen. They'll do anything to ensure that there's the safety of others. You look at Team Ruby, well, what do they have? Ruby is a terrible leader because all she ever does is basically just like, meh. Like, doesn't care, sits there and drinks tea when the world is at war. Seriously, Ruby is a dumb character. And then questions, like, oh, what do I do? Well, you go out there on the front lines, you do something. I mean, seriously, Ruby's a horrible character. I mean, like, here's a good example of a character. Marika Kato from Bodacious Space Pirates. Okay, what makes her good as a leader? She's an easygoing character, and what she does is she makes good and quick decisions, and she's quick on her feet, and not only that, but she's somebody who works well under pressure and doesn't get overwhelmed by the situations that she's in, and keeps a strong level head, which made her great as a leader. But you have Ruby. Ruby has none of those things. None of them. She doesn't try to be understanding. She doesn't try to do anything that could try to save others. It's just all about her and herself. And also, rather than saving people, if they don't agree with her, then she's just going to let them die. I mean, Ruby is awful. She's a terrible character, not a good leader, and sits around and does nothing but drinks tea rather than actually tries to solve the issue or try to come to understand others. She's a terrible leader. And who's the best leader in anime, manga, or cartoon? What makes Ruby a bad leader? Okay, so when it comes to a good leader, well, I'm going to go with Lelouch. He is one, in my opinion, to be one of the best leaders. I actually love Lelouch's character when it comes to his whole plan and how he did everything. Like, he was a character that was sympathetic. I mean, he understood that sacrifices had to be made, and there were times where he even beat himself up. Not only that, but he used others to his advantage to ensure that he would be able to win the war. But at the same time, to put an end to it, he had to make himself to be the villain to create peace. And that's why, in the end, he had the Zero Requiem plan to basically just have himself die to be seen as the villain to be able to ensure that everything would end and be at peace. I mean, excellent character, in my opinion, when it comes to being a leader. I mean, that's my opinion on who I think would be the best leader. But like when you compare Ruby to that, Ruby's not willing to sacrifice herself. I mean, she's not willing to jump down and go, "Hey, look, I'm going to die to ensure everybody else's safety." No, I mean, she's just somebody to think of herself, to think that she can just save everybody, and she's just so thick-headed to the point where she's just like, anyone that's against me is always going to be my enemy, and they're not renewable. Absolutely terrible character, But that's just me. But yeah, good questions. Sexy Neo asks, Captain Kirk or Captain Picard? Well, my favorite would be Picard. I mean, yeah, Kirk is awesome himself. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the man was definitely a Chad. But Picard, he is like the ultra Chad, man. Like, I mean, seriously, I loved his leadership. And he's my favorite. I mean, he's just always been my favorite. Nothing Nas asks, since the Super Bowl was a few days ago, as of posting this really odd question, does it make you daydream of punching koala bears? Yes, I realize how weird that sounds out of context. Nah, I mean, I don't ever watch it, so I just don't care because, it's just not something I really care for. But that's just me. I mean, for those who enjoy it, more power to you. I mean, that's basically my way of seeing it. Mr. DJ Flaw asks, how innocent are you? Ooh, this is going to be interesting. So, for anybody who's wondering how innocent I am, well, I took this test, and the results are in. What did I get? Well, this is what I got, actually. The Innocence Test. Dream Kid 14. You know when to bend the rules, but I'd be shocked if you ever actually broken any. Good for you. Your record is probably cleaner than ours. Yep, so there you go. That's what my score was, surprisingly. So, Falskrim Jaeger asks, for the February Q&A, what do you think of the announcement of Diamond and Pearl? So, Diamond and Pearl, what are my thoughts on the remakes? Well, here's what I'll tell you. I actually am excited. I mean, yeah, there's the chibi art style, and I know some people are a fan of it, some people aren't. Me personally, I think it's fine. I really don't hate it. But I do think some people, were having just a lot of issues because it wasn't going to look like Sword Shield. But, this really doesn't bother me. And I mean, some of the landscape looks pretty good. So it's really not all that bad in my opinion. If there's one thing that I would at least say, because if you look at the chibi style characters, the one thing that I will say that probably needs to be just kind of worked on a little bit, now this is just me, is how the characters look. It's not that there's a problem with the chibi style, but let me exactly explain what I mean. So when you look at this model right here, right? So you look at Dawn. It doesn't look terrible, but what it needs is it needs more outlining, in my opinion. I think an outline would be a lot better for what this model looks like. So I'm going to show you a comparison between this, where it's not outlined, and how much better an outline for the model would look. So take Pokemon Masters X, for example, which would be this. You see the Dawn on the left as opposed to the Denver Pro Remake Dawn on the right. The one on the left has outlines, which I think makes it look a lot better. Like, it makes her model look way better than without the outlines. I think this is just something that they could, kind of, patch up a little bit, kind of work on. Because if they were to do that, I think they could make the models look a lot better. But so far, the style is not all that bad. I have seen some pretty humorous jokes about Cynthia, like this one at the One Punch Man reference. What's with this sassy lost child? And there were some jokes that I saw where it's like, could you imagine if they have like everybody be chibi except for Cynthia because she had a 3D model in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun Ultra Moon? So like, could you imagine like seeing like a normal size Cynthia and everybody else is like chibi? I thought that would be one of the funniest things ever. Oh man, can't wait to see Cynthia 3D again because God, everyone knows I love Cynthia. But yeah, if they did that, if they had like giant Cynthia, I'd be all for it. That'd be hilarious. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to them. What are your top 5 Pokemon games? My top 5 Pokemon games. Oh well, first off, I know this one can be a bit controversial. My problem with X and Y was the fact that it was easy, but I really liked them. But what really did it for me for X and Y was more the competitive scene than it was anything else. Because Mega Evolution brought a lot of life into Pokemon that just weren't even useful at all. The story had tons of holes in it, though, that if they had done the sequel instead of canceling it, well, then, we would have had more of those holes patched up. But yeah, I thought that was an issue. But X and Y, I still like Generation 6. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like I said, what really did it for me, though, which was the biggest thing, was probably the competitive, which is, someone like myself, I'm a highly competitive player. So that's why I really like Gen 6. Generation 7, Sun and Moon were okay, but they had a lot of problems. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon had some problems of its own where it was too easy, and there was still some hand-holding nonsense that really didn't need to be there. But when you get past all of that, I mean, the story itself, I think, was actually what was fun, what was good about it. Now, of course, Ultra Sun Ultra Moon felt like glorified DLC, and I don't think anybody could really say it doesn't, because it kind of did. But, at the same time, I still liked them. I mean, the characters are memorable. I don't think anybody could really forget the characters. The story was actually not all that bad. I do prefer that they could have actually done more with the Ultra Megalopolis, but they didn't. Instead of being just one walkway, a corridor, I thought it was a problem. But it had a lot of things that I actually enjoyed about it a lot more. And then Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, definitely excellent remakes. I've always loved these games. Like, the original Gold, Silver, and Crystal were great. But like, when it came to these games with the remakes, like, they were just so good. And for many, probably the best Pokemon game ever. This is arguably one of the best games ever made in terms of Pokemon, and I agree to that because it really is, in my opinion. Johto was always fun. Also having, Kanto in the games as well. 2 different regions, which is something people have requested for years to do again that they haven't. But something that I really liked, and just more added to the games, which were great. And then Fire Red and Leaf Green were the remakes, which to this very day are still my favorite remakes of all time. Yeah, you could say, oh, with Gen 1er, but it's not even just the fact that it's Gen 1, it's the fact that they just added more to it with the Sevi Islands. Really cool content that, we've never really got to see again. Like, we haven't been able to see, like, a post-game island area. I mean, yeah, you got the Isle of Armor and Sword and Shield, but it wasn't really as good as, like, what the Sevi Islands were all the way back in Fire Red and Leaf Green. The Sevi Islands had a lot more to them. They had like a big story involving Team Rocket. I mean, it was really cool. And to this very day, I still love Gen 1, but at the same time, I love these remakes even more, which they were great. But my favorite Pokemon game of all time is Platinum. Platinum is a fantastic game, which, is a lot of the reason why I am excited for these remakes, because, Platinum, for most people, this is their favorite game. Like, a lot of Pokemon fans will probably tell you Generation 4 was their favorite. I've always liked the Sinnoh region. I've always loved Cynthia, like I said, favorite character in all Pokemon, so, that kind of goes into that. But, the Distortion World idea was very amazing. That was something that they've never done again, unfortunately. Giratina, was really cool with that story. I mean, you even had like the Pokemon, like if you got the gifts, that is, where you go get Darkrai Shaman. You also had that in Diamond and Pearl, though, but still, that was really cool. Arceus, you had to, what was it, actually replay that item because they never distributed the Azure Flute, but still, that event was cool as well that you could have gotten if you had an extra replay. But yeah, I mean, like, these games were great. Battle Frontier, I mean, it wasn't as big as Emeralds, but it was still good. And, Platinum is my favorite game of all time. But that's just me. So, yeah, good questions. Opening Desk asks, thoughts on Fire Emblem Heroes? Oh, well, it's a gacha game, but I do like it. I do like that they do what other gacha games really do, basically. But I find it to be fun. I mean, like I said, at that point, it would just get you into other gacha games as well. so, yeah, I mean, it's fun. I like it. It's not bad. But yeah, good question. James Kennedy asks, did you ever burn your servants in Fate Grand Order? I do, seriously. I don't unless I have like multiple copies of them. Like I'll usually say if I have like 2 copies of them, I'll keep them, but I don't really burn mine. But that's just me. It's unless I just have way too many of them. But yeah, that's just me. Captain Boomerang asks, what is the best anime plot twist? Well, I always like the one from Assassination Classroom where Koro Sensei actually didn't blow up the moon at all, and that he wasn't actually going to destroy the Earth, and that he planned to die no matter what. That's why he asked class, E3 to actually eliminate him because he was going to die no matter what, and he was filled with all this antimatter that would destroy the planet anyways. So he was, trying to get them to kill him so that they could stop this from happening. I mean, I thought that was great. That to me was a really good plot twist in terms of anime. I mean, but you know, that's what I thought was a really really amazing plot twist. But yeah, good question, man. Johnny Q asks, which fight would you rather watch 3 weeks in a row? Kira versus Shen fight in Sea Destiny with its BS ending and its amount of recycled animation, or Team Ruby versus the Ace Ops? Oh, I have seen the Team Ruby versus the Ace Ops in slow motion. It is insufferable. I'd rather watch Kira versus Shen any day of the week. Any day. I would watch it 7 days in a row. I'm not kidding. All week long. All week long. But yeah, good question, man. Baylink asks, February 2021 Q&A. Yo, DL, I hope you're doing well today. I am, and I hope all of you are doing well as well. Thank you very much. I got a couple of interesting questions this month, so I'm going to make them fun. Question 1, how many similarities can you spot between this? So it would be this scene. So holding them back. It reminds me of Karapika, as you showed, whenever he actually had that ability with his Nin to be able to take down the Phantom Troop if they were a spider. Yeah, no, I can see the similarities there. Pretty interesting, actually, and that's good art for sure. Question 2. If these two were to simply play a deck of poker, who would win? Hisoka, Moro, Hunter x Hunter versus Yumeko Jabami. I would have to say that if you're talking about a regular game of poker between these two characters, I mean, if we're not talking like abilities or anything, then it would probably go to Yumeko. Hisoka, now, if you wanted to talk about like cheating, I would say that Hisoka would win. But Yumeko would probably be the one to win overall, I'd say. So if there was a card game between these two, if there was no cheating, then yeah, no, she'd probably win. Question 3, which JoJo best represents Valentine's Day? Oh, well, that one's a pretty simple question because that would definitely have to belong to the man himself, Joseph Joestar. I mean, this man, have you seen him? He is a stallion. I mean, he definitely represents it. And I mean, the man's great. I mean, Joseph Joestar is absolutely brilliant. I would say he represents it best. And then question 4, if Goblin Slayer somehow gained the ability to make an actual harem without eliminating his need to kill goblins, what tropes and cliches would you want him to avoid? I'd probably want him to avoid being clueless when it comes to love. That'd probably be something that I would want him to avoid. I mean, he probably could see it. Now, how he goes about it would be another thing. But I think that would be a cliche to definitely try to avoid. Because there's a lot of times where the male protagonist will not realize it at all, and that a character is into them. So I think that would be like, something that I'd like to see avoided if there was something like that to go on. Last question: who was your last Valentine in Persona 5? So that's an interesting one because the first time it was Anne. Now I did do a playthrough where you could try all of them. Then there's a secret ending that if you ignore all of them but one because you take one out, then they all beat you up. Oh, it's actually pretty funny. But yeah, Anne was my last Valentine. So yeah, definitely Anne. But yeah, good questions, man. Gunham Alex asks, question. So Draco, here's a scenario for you. You're in charge of the battle against the Grim while Winter is busy. You have access to whatever means you need to fight them off and save the city. What will you do to fend them off, and what huntsman would you bring to help? You can't bring any of the villains, and they can't be Ruby, RNJ, or Oscar. I mean, I would just take the ships. I would take the ships. I wouldn't even have the troops on the ground. I'd take the ships and just blast everything. I mean, I would have soldiers on the wall. I would not have them on the ground. And I would have the ships come in there and blast the Grim from the ground. Because that would have been the sensible thing to do. If I had huntsmen, they would be professionals. I mean, I'd probably have some of the others that are in the academies because that's what they're trained for in the first place. But I would have them kind of sitting back unless they had to actually be unleashed against Grim that could probably get past the wall if they did. But I mean, that's how I'd do it. Just saying. But good question, man. Sexy Neo asks, here's a challenge. Name all the things Kirby done right in the volume. Okay, next question. no, no, if there's anything that they've done right, at least Neo has good facial expressions to tell you her emotions about things, because that's basically been me the whole entire volume. But I'm just saying. And then Oscar, because he's been pretty good character this volume for a change. I mean, I don't like him, but I like him more than others. Winter as well, and just Willow and Whitley, they're all great. I like all of them. Like all three of them are good. Aside from that, everything else has been trash. Absolute dog shit. Yeah, everything else has been dog shit. So yeah, there you go. There's your good things. Assault Shaker asks, "Hey Nick, here's my questions. Can Mechagodzilla destroy Atlas easily? Yes. How would Luigi feel about hunting down the ghost from Fatal Frame? Well, I think you mean hunting, but I think he'd be terrified because those ghosts from Fatal Frame. If you ever played that series is fun, but like terrifying. Like it's so good. No, that would probably give Luigi at least multiple heart attacks. Do you think the Sonic series gets bad rep? Thing is that with Sonic, the games themselves have been pretty bad within later years. Now there have been good games, good comics even, but like within later years, there's just not been as good of games, and which is disappointing. Because when you look at how good it was back in the 90s and early 2000s, it was pretty good. And then of course you get Sonic 06. Yeah, we don't talk about that, but there are some good things. I preferred Archie Comics as well over IDW when they were doing Sonic also, but yeah, I mean Sonic's had its better years is the better way to put it, but people just want to really see Sonic get better is really what it comes down to. Can Kratos beat Ganondorf? I mean, Kratos can beat Ganondorf, but what really ultimately stops Ganondorf in the end would be the Triforce of Power, like taking that from him. That would be the way to destroy him for good. But if he's beaten, well, what'll just happen is that he'll obviously die for some time, but then the soul will go back to the body. That's basically what happens with Ganondorf. He would temporarily die if you're talking about him being killed by Kratos. Now, beaten is one thing. Of course, he could beat him. But killed, well, unless you take the Triforce of Power from him, then Ganondorf will continue to come back, continue to basically go back to his body after some time, of course. So Kratos could beat him, but he couldn't ultimately kill him off for good unless he were to take away the Triforce of Power from him. What is the most overlooked game you ever played? Mine is Wario World. I'm not really sure. I'd have to think about that. I really don't know. I mean, that's something to really think about. I'd have to really think about that one. I don't know. I really don't. That's kind of crazy. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you right now. I'd have to really think hard about that one. Speaking of Wario, How much garlic does he eat in a day? Probably enough to kill a regular person, which I could see that. And what would happen if Yang badmouthed Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket? P.S. Rip R. Lee Ermey. Yeah, rip to him for sure. I mean, like, he was great. But, oh, no, he would basically just rip Yang a new one, and then she would shut up because because, like, no matter what she'd say, he would just completely hand it to her. I mean, like, Sergeant Hartman, man, that's somebody you didn't talk back to. Because, I mean, like, you want to talk about somebody who just hands it back to you worse than you could hand it to them. Yeah, no, Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket would just completely destroy you. You tried to talk back to him. I mean, he would tear you apart. I mean, that is a fact. Also, if you're thirsty, have this. Yeah, soda would be nice right now. Honestly, a soda would actually be good to drink. I'm probably gonna get one. Probably soda would probably be good to drink right now. I don't know what would sound good yet, but a soda would sound good to drink. Opening Desk asks, "Are you into Twitch streamers? If yes, who's your favorite?" Actually, no, I don't watch anyone on Twitch. I really don't have enough time to watch anybody. So no, I don't really care. I try to watch who I can, but like I don't watch anybody on Twitch because I don't care for Twitch. But that's just me. But good question though. Rainbow Boom X asks, if the Celestial Dragons for One Piece were attempting to take over many realities, including this one, and were attempting to destroy everyone's hopes and dreams, who would you send to fight them off from any reality of your choosing to take their tyrannical asses down? I would take Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. If he had the Gauntlet, I mean, he's gonna win because if he has all the stones, they don't beat him. They don't beat him. Like, especially if it's like Comics Thanos. Comics Thanos completely just pile drives them. Like, they don't have any hope. That's the only person I would actually need to take them down. Like, would be Thanos with the Gauntlet. I mean, at that point, they just lose. So that's who I would choose. Johnny Q asks, how do you think Team Ruby would react to a character like Reo Lee Crusette from Gundam Seed? Oh, they'd probably not care for Ryu. In fact, they'd be like, oh, well, you have a different opinion than us. You're the worst. Kill him. That's basically what they think is they're sociopaths. So, and then Rayleigh Crusette would then destroy them. Because Ruby would never stand up against a Gundam. But yeah, good question. Sexy Neo asks, here's a serious question. How many years in prison do you think Jean would have to serve for getting into what would technically be military type school with fake transcripts, and how much of a fine would he have to pay? You can use the state or federal laws to figure it out. So it would be like 5 years, like I think $25,000 is how much it would cost in terms of like a fine. So yeah, Jean would be in prison for 5 years of $25,000 up to pay. God, do I would have loved that to happen. Ah, man. God, I would have I would have loved to see that happen to Jean. He wouldn't have made it out of there. Opening Desk asks, final 10 questions for 2021, February 2021. What was your high school experience like? Oh, it was awful. Did you interact with any cheerleaders? No, because it was awful. I asked because one of the later shonen I plan to create has an American high school as a major setting, and one of the major characters involved is a cheerleader. Oh, I mean, that's cool. No, my experience was not a good one. Didn't like high school. College was no better. So, yeah, it was not a good experience. Not a good experience. Favorite JoJo meme. Oh, well, this is my favorite one, is every time you see like the, oh my god, with Joseph shows. I always love those. I love those, and I love the Dio ones. Those are like always the best ones. Like, oh man, I love them to death. If you could choose to be with one waifu other than Neo, who would it be? Oh, God, there's so many options. I don't know. It's either between like Lucina from Fire Emblem, or it would be Mordred, or it would be the Aegis from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or Mithra in Pyra, because that would be like my options. Those would be my choices. Or Erza from Fairy Tail. Yeah, those would be my choices. What sites do you use to watch your anime on? Depends. I mean, I go here and there, just kind of look around. So yeah, like I said, it just kind of depends. I don't use Crunchyroll and I don't use Funimation because I don't support them because I do not like them. To people who do, I mean that's up to you. But after the things that they've done, I do not support them. So that's just me though. Do not support them at all. What video game consoles do you own? Now this is a long list. Like, I mean, we're talking a long one. So like, I own all the way back to the original Atari. I have an original Atari. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I also have a regular Nintendo. I have a Game Boy. Like the old Game Boy that was like the size of a brick. If you smack someone on the head with it, you could probably kill them. Like, I have an original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Micro. Um, I have N64. I had the original PlayStation. I sold it. I had a PlayStation 2. I sold it. I had a PlayStation 3. I sold it. Um, but I have an original Xbox. I have a GameCube. I have a Wii. I have an Xbox 360 Elite because my original Xbox 360, like I had three of them, and they kept getting the red ring. So my Elite, didn't have that problem, so I didn't have to worry about that anymore. What else? I have an Xbox One. I have a Nintendo DS. I have a Nintendo DS Lite. I have a Nintendo 3DS. I have a Nintendo 3DS XL. I have a Wii U. I have a Switch. Yeah, I have a lot of consoles. I have a lot. Oh man, like I have a Game Boy Advance. I have Game Boy Advance SP also. Yeah, I have a lot. I have I have I have a lot of consoles. I really do. I mean, the list is a long one. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I even have like an old Donkey Kong watch where you could actually play. I don't know if anybody ever got this, where you could actually play the original Donkey Kong on it, and it also told time. I'm not even kidding. It's crazy. I also have a Game and Watch, like those old ones, like from the 1980s, like like the original 1980. Like yeah, I have one of those too. Like I have a load of like old stuff, like in terms of consoles. It's crazy. But yeah, pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. What are your thoughts on Non Non Bayori? It's this cute, lighthearted anime I'm watching that I feel needs more love. No, I think it's actually a pretty good series. I've watched it. It's definitely a fun one. Slice of life. Yeah, no, I do like it actually. I think it's a pretty nice little series to watch. Like if you like slice of life, it's definitely something I would definitely say to watch. Thoughts on the vision of Escaflowne? I've never seen it, but I am aware of the series. I've just never been able to, watch it really because I just haven't had the time. But yes, I do know of it, so I can't really give an opinion on it. Do you listen to mainstream music? If so, what bands do you like? Oh, I like metal stuff. Like rock and metal, or like my favorites, like Metallica, for example. Love Metallica. Also like older stuff, like Queen was also really good. Bohemian Rhapsody is my jam. That is like one of my all-time favorite songs ever. Period. Love it. Love it. What are your thoughts on the works of Genndy Tartakovsky, especially Samurai Jack and Primal? I've always liked Samurai Jack. I felt the ending was a bit but the series is great, and Primal's okay. It's not bad. I mean, not my favorite, but definitely okay. Definitely pretty good. Still like Samurai Jack more though. But yeah, he does good stuff. And then the final question: why are you single? By choice. No one wants me. Waiting for the right person. We just broke up. I'm too ugly for a relationship. I gave up on love. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm waiting for a miracle, and the person I want is taken. Well, for me, I'm just kind of waiting for the right person. I'm to that point in my life now that, like, I know what my preferences are and everything. And, if I could find the right woman that, I'm ready for, like that I feel is the right person, right? Yeah, I'd go for it. I've had some pretty bad dating experiences in the past. So, I've been kind of like just trying to find the right person rather than, date around or anything. I mean, then again, I've always been kind of more into trying to find the right person than to date around, but that's just me. So the next person I date is the one that I'm hoping is the person I'm going to marry and be with. But that's just me. Arklord asks, I was saying I will do it, and I Kurwa did it. Okay. Hi Draco, another meme review for you with addition of some comics. Okay. So, taking a look at this, that's my cat. Looks like somebody just took like permanent marker and just went, "Hey, kitty, here," and just like colored half of its head. That's what it looks like. But hey, I mean, I'd be your cat. I'd be Neo's cat. And then Weiss with all the faces. Okay, so apparently an owl. And then this with Ruby. Like, oh, are you robbing me? Why? Well, see, if I was that thug, I wouldn't fall for her charm. I would just take the wallet and leave, and just be like, nope, sorry, ain't gonna work. That's what I'd do. I'd just say, nope, sorry, your charm ain't gonna work. Oh, and then the man with two souls. Yeah, too bad that didn't go anywhere. All right, you've had your fun. It's time to go back to Volume 4. And then Pyrrha asking if she should go, and then it's like, oh no, you and Roman can stay here. Ruby Chibi, the best thing that happened after Volume 3. And then everything else went downhill because, and then Ruby Chibi got canceled. It's a shame. It's a shame. Yang, could you come up here and give me a hand? Oh, and then throws her arm. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Although I don't think she threw her arm. When you're about to fight to the death, but then you both have to death. That was the best fight in Volume 4 was Crow versus Tyrion. That was honestly the best fight. I mean, it still wasn't great in terms of animation, but it was still at least the best fight. Zwei, help me. Long live the king. Yeah, no, Zwei, you did the right thing. You made the right decision. Yes. I give props to Zwei. Yes, he is true doggo. He is true friend. Yes. The only good goblins are the ones who never come out of their stinking holes. Because the Goblin Slayer. Yeah, and he's gonna take down the goblins. Oh, that's great. Battle skirts. Number 1 cause for swagger. Man, that's the old comedy I miss. That was when it was fun. Those were the days, man. Those were the days of Rune Ruby. It was actually fun. You have silver eyes. You have cookies. Let's negotiate. I don't see where this could go anywhere good. I don't see where this could... Like, don't you know you don't take food from strangers? Especially if they want your silver eyes. Come on, Ruby. Nobody taught you anything, did they? I'll really break his legs. I mean, she said she was going to, but she never did. At this point, can we just say that Pyrrha was like yandere for John? Because she was like queen simp for John. She really was. She really was. Hello, I'm Cindy, a teen like you. No. Okay, Cinder would never have been that dumb. Like, what? Like, what? That sounds like a Ruby thing. That sounds like something Ruby would do. That sounds like a Ruby thing. How's Mother? Does she exist in canon yet? Classified. Well, I mean, that was Volume 3, so... Yeah, well, I mean, technically she's canon. The kids are there, so... Just saying. This kingdom isn't big enough for 2 supervillains. Just not another super one. Oh, you're a villain, James? What's the difference? Presentation. No. Neither one of them work. Neither one of them present themselves well. No. This meme died upon arrival. It died upon arrival. And then, they're like the goblins. I think we all know where this is going. I like this. That was really good. Papa, there's a scary monster under my bed. Stop being a prick. There are no Oh man, yeah, that would terrify any parent of a goblin. Oh, oh man, and then the army of goblins. And the Goblin Slayer just over here like, oh no, they must all die. Just looking at him like, I'm going to kill them all. Oh man, yeah, that's hilarious. I like that. That's actually really good. That's my kind of dog. Because he's taking down the goblins. Oh yeah, no, that would be the Goblin Slayer's dog. Yes, that would be his dog. Manga, anime, the Netflix adaptation. This is true because the manga is super clean, looks beautiful and very detailed, and then you have like the anime. It still looks really good, And then Netflix, because they tried to make a live adaptation, and then it would just look terrible. It would look atrocious. Now that we explained to you the plot, do you have any questions? Just one. Why only young women can gain the magic powers? Because the guy that made them was a perverted old man. Although that's been retconned, so yeah, that sucks. Ah, sucks that's been retconned. I guess we should go defend the school. It's either that or quit and find another career path. We'd make good ladies of the night. We'd make amazing ladies of the night. Oh yeah, Yang's personal status disarmed. Now, if only it could just be deceased in the series now, that would be better. I hate Yang's character so much. I really do. Kitten thinks of nothing but murder all day. See, this would probably work if it was like Neon Cat. Then I think this meme would work a lot better. I don't get why everyone's so excited. Don't they know Volume 4 is canceled? And it shows Ruby screaming, and it says, well, guess Ruby's dead. Volume 4 is over, folks. Why didn't this happen? Why didn't this happen now? Now I want this meme to be real. Now I want this meme to be canon. I would deem this as canon. Seeing how terrible the show has gotten, I would deem this as canon. I would. Why, I actually do have a copy of Third Crusade. What? Let me see. Huh? Where there's a, and then he punches him in the face. Oh, poor Mercury. Punch to the face. But yeah, that's still pretty funny. It's still pretty funny. Okay, this all right here is the epitome of Volume 5 and everything after it. this is what it should have just been, period. Like, this is the epitome of Volume 5 and everything after it, because it's just one big heaping fire. It's one big trash fire going forward. It really is. It really is. We have the same legs. Nice legs, little brother. What are you smug about? You look good, Crow. You know, see, that's the thing. Whenever Ty told that story, that just made him look more like an asshole. I mean, that made him look like the biggest asshole. My God, not only is he a cuck, but he's an asshole. Man, I hate Ty. I do. Okay, but is the blindfold necessary? Yes, irony is funny because Fox is blind. Okay, yeah, no. See, I get it, but yeah. He's blind. Okay. Alright, I can see that I have to teach you how to be villains. Yeah, let Roman do that job. He'd be best at it. He was the best villain in all of Ruby. I mean, I don't think anybody could argue that. He was the best. No, fuck this, I'm done. I'm so done. That's how I feel now about modern Ruby. I honestly, if Neo were to fly off with like an umbrella and just be written out of the show and be fine, yeah, no, I'd be okay with that. I'd be fine with that. It's not going to happen, but I'd be fine with that. Meanwhile, deep within the mind of 14-year-old Oscar Pine, this was a mistake. Yeah, that's that's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Ruby Yandere Simulator. Yeah, okay, see, I would play this all the time as Pyrrha just so I could make sure Jean is his character's just gone. Yes, every time. But I wouldn't have her be in love with him. I just have her have the love for just killing him. Because, God, that's what would keep me playing this game forever, because I don't like Jean. Everybody knows I don't like Jean. I hate Jean's character. He's so terribly written. He's such a horrible character. Meanwhile, in the afterlife, okay, see, you know this isn't real, because Adam went to heaven. That's how you know this wasn't real. Poor Adam, man. Poor Adam. Your weapon is so cool. Can I touch it? Can I? Get lost, brat. Oh, brat. Don't call me a brat. Like, here's the thing. Here is the thing. Ruby would never stand a chance against Ragna. Ragna would mollywop her in an instant. You want to talk about a real ass beating? Like, the moment that fight starts is the moment that Ragna wins. Like, it's over. Ragna would just destroy Ruby easily. Oh, so this one's One Punch Man. How could a plain-looking person like you have ridiculously superhuman strength? Do you have some kind of secret? So you want to know the secret of my strength? Well, that was difficult training. So I'll tell you if you want. Really? 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and run 10 kilometers every day. And I had become strong. Lost my hair, too. What? No, I can't do that ridiculous training. I don't want to lose my hair. Yeah, she'd lose it. Omae wa Mushindaru. Moans, Nani? That's actually really good. Oh, because darkness is a masochist. Yeah. I could see that. That would be hilarious. It's just like, wait a minute. Oh, because she would enjoy that way too much. Useless, shameless, friendless, pitiless, boobless, and flawless. Oh man, yeah, because that's basically the best way to describe every single last one. Oh man, that's too good. I like that. That's really good. Manga anime Netflix adaptation. Yeah, yeah. Because that's exactly what Netflix live action adaptation would be. Yet again, like with the Goblin Slayer, when it sums it up perfectly. Oh man, Aqua would be. She'd probably be drunk. Yeah, well, she would probably be extremely drunk with the Netflix adaptation because of how she'd look. Darkness. She's like body pillow. Nah, and then it's like punching bag, and it's like yes. that would be darkness. Yeah, she would want a punching bag of herself. Now I feel like that's going to be like merchandise to be made. Oh man, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And then people crying because Ruby Chibi's canceled. Yeah, no, I understand. Like I said, Ruby Chibi was the last thing that was good that was going for that series after Volume 3. Yeah, I can understand that. When you send a registration form to a school as a joke, but actually get accepted, oh, yeah, except, he intentionally sent it. It wasn't even supposed to be a joke. But yeah, it became harder for him. We all got those teammates. The guy who's kind of okay and nice to chat with. Nah, not anymore. The guy who's your friend but gets pissed off at anybody. Anybody that probably disagree with you. This really stealthy guy who just disappears sometimes. Yeah, it's called ghosting. The guy who rushes in. Yeah, it's called being reckless. The over energetic guy. Yeah, you see that. The guy who does stuff but doesn't say anything. Probably one of the wisest ones of the group. The noob. That one. Throw that one out the window. And then the guy who's better than everybody else. That one. You also throw that one out the window. No, but seriously though, that one's a pretty good meme. That sums up a lot of things. It's a pretty good meme. Cute Justice. Weiss, don't you want to see photos of a child's Y? Excuse me, I am just now in class. Well, if you insist, I could see a little bit. What the hell is this cute creature? That's not fair. Give it to me quick. You need to chill out. Okay. All right. Quality of the action figure 1. Look, it's a figure of me. Hey, look up your own figure skirt. What's the difference? Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, perverted Weiss. Perverted Weiss. Quality of the action figure 2. Okie dokie, if you insist, I must confirm the quality of this action figure. Oh? Are you proud of yourself? Because weapon is simple. Cost is taken for invisible parts. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I have bad news, Crow. Did Fall die? No, your niece is in jail. The yellow one. Never scare me like that ever again, husband. Honestly, if I was Crow, I wouldn't be worried if Yang was in jail either. No, I'd just be like, oh, going on about my day. Alright, so the next one with Ruby here. What precious ball of sunshine and rainbows is evolving? Congratulations, your precious ball of sunshine and rainbows has evolved into self-destructive ball of PTSD and rage. I don't see the PTSD part, but I definitely see the rage and self-destruction. So part of that's right. Part of that's right. Why are we staring? I don't know. The script just said stare menacingly. Wait, what was that? Oh no, what is it? It's the sound of fans shipping us together. Are you serious? We've shared like 2 seconds of screen time. Yeah, but the thing is that they, in terms of writing, would have made a lot more sense. Like, they would have. Like, man. And then the potential was just completely wiped away of them even talking to each other. They don't even talk to each other in Volume 7 or 8. It's ridiculous. Like, just absurd. And then Ruby and Yang are apparently playing a game. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. But yeah, good memes, man. Anime AK116 asks, would Neo make a good Mandalorian? I mean, considering her abilities, her semblance, and everything, she'd be a pretty busted Mandalorian. I mean, her combat skills and everything. Yeah, I mean, if she were to learn more in terms of combat skills as well, then yes, yeah, she would be a very busted Mandalorian in my opinion. She would be really good. But yeah, so I'd say she'd be pretty good. But yeah, good question, man. Well, pi is actually a Greek letter for p, which is the ratio of the circumference of any circle to the diameter of that circle. So, yeah, that's pi is. White Draco Lord and 47. Well, it's actually 67, but 6 and 7 are actually my favorite two numbers, and I've always liked dragons. So, yeah, that's why. That's actually why. Good question, man. Jay Insanity asks, imagine you're prepared for the final boss, but instead, what you get a boss rush. Yep. How would you react? Well, I've experienced a boss rush before. It's called Super Smash Bros. Melee with the event matches. Oh my dear God, was 50 and 51 absolutely atrocious in Melee. Oh, I beat those, but God, were they hard. They were so hard. I'll never forget that. But yeah, well, those are all the questions. So I want to thank you all for all your questions. They're greatly appreciated. I love answering them, and I hope you enjoy sending them and listening to the answers I have for you. So if you have any questions you would like for me to answer for the next Q&A, leave them in the comment section down below. It's greatly appreciated. If there's any I missed, please let me know, and I will be sure to get them as well. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.